Part 20. The real daughter has become famous all over the world for fortune-telling. Author, Wang Crisp Bone. Chapter 191. Chapter 191, Applying for Identity Documents for Aliens. All policies and regulations are subject to change based on actual conditions. When the Abnormality Bureau was first established, they never thought about providing identity certificates for non-human beings, because at that time, they did not know that there were various non-human beings in the world. It wasn't until they collaborated with Pei Anzu several times and saw the little fox in Shen Yueran's hands that they came up with this idea. Non-human species have strong abilities and are not bound by social rules. If left unchecked, they are likely to cause harm to human society and disrupt human safety. It was also at this time that the Bureau of Abnormalities wanted to establish a non-human file to record all existing non-human species for easier management. After the alien file was established, the strange bureau encountered this incident before they had time to explain it to Pei Anzu. The appearance of Up further strengthened the idea of the alien bureau. So, before Pei Anzu left Ruyishan, Officer Du told her about the incident. Pei Anzu feels that there is nothing wrong with the behavior of the Alien Bureau. It can not only restrain non-human species to a certain extent through some means, but also help these aliens better integrate into the human world. At least the Alien Bureau hopes that humans and aliens can cooperate, instead of being in a state of mutual hostility and hatred. This is of great benefit to social stability. Based on these reasons, Pei Anzu agreed to take Up to the Foreign Affairs Bureau to register, and also asked Shen Yueran to take the little fox with him. The little fox is the Shen family's fairy, but since Shen Yueran became Pei Anzu's assistant, the Shen family has asked the little fox to follow her to protect her safety at all times. So, Shen Yueran is the nominal owner of the little fox. She has the responsibility to discipline and restrain the little fox, just like Pei Anzu does to Up. In the same situation, there is Qin Xiao and her guardian spirit, which is Linglan. It's just that the contract between Qin Xiao and Linglan is an equal one and there is no subordinate relationship. But even so, Linglan's existence must be registered. So on the way back, Pei Anzu called Qin Xiao and explained the matter. After Qin Xiao was almost deceived into marriage by Zhao Yanchu, she went to Panjinj to develop the Qin family's business. Linglan, as a guardian spirit, also hid in the beads and went with her. At first, Qin Xiao did not discover the existence of Linglan. But as time went by, Qin Xiao encountered several dangers, large and small. There was always a mysterious force to help her at critical moments, and she gradually realized that something was wrong. Until another time, when she went to an overseas mine to buy rough stones, she accidentally got involved in an internal fight among the local armed forces and was almost shot. Suzuran appeared in time and saved her life. From then on, Linglan was on the clear road in front of Qin Xiao. When Qin Xiao learned that Linglan gave up the opportunity to be reincarnated and volunteered to become her guardian spirit to atone for the sins of Zhao Yanchu in the past and present life, she was deeply moved. She knows that Suzuran is also a victim, so she treats Suzuran as her own sister. In this way, even if Qin Xiao and Linglan have an equal contract, to a certain extent, she also has a certain binding effect on Linglan. The Bureau of Irregularity Investigation believes that the purpose of filing exceptions is just in case. Perhaps the laws of the human world cannot control aliens, but they can control the humans they serve. Once a puppet, Linglan, or the little fox causes any trouble that is harmful to the country and society, the Alien Bureau will directly contact Pei Anzu, Qin Xiao, and Shen Yueran are in charge. After Qin Xiao heard about this incident, he rushed back immediately. So, when Pei Anzu and Shen Yueran left Pingcheng and returned to Yunqing not long ago, Qin Xiao also came back from Panjinj. After the three people met, they went directly to the headquarters of the Foreign Affairs Bureau. At this time, Officer Du was still staying on Ruyi Mountain to deal with the aftermath, and the heads of several other departments were not here, so the one who received them was Guo Qinglang, the head of the Irregular Bureau. End of this chapter. The real daughter has become famous all over the world for fortune-telling. Author, Wang Chris Bone. Chapter 192. This is the first time Pei Anzu has come to the headquarters of the Heresy Investigation Bureau. The last time she met Director Guo, Officer Du, and others, they made a reservation at an outside restaurant instead of inviting her to the headquarters. They followed Guo Qinglang and entered the gate of the strange bureau. On the surface, the Foreign Affairs Bureau looks like a very ordinary small building. The sign outside is the banner of a security company, which is used to conceal it from others. But when we really entered it, we found that the whole Yaishao Bureau was completely different. The Abnormality Bureau is a confidential unit that deals with all kinds of monsters, and non-human beings, so the protection is particularly strict. Starting from the gate, there are many checkpoints. Access cards, fingerprint readers, pupil readers, facial readers, electronic passwords, etc., are all available to prevent outsiders from entering by mistake. Only employees within the Abnormality Bureau can successfully pass through various levels and reach their jobs. Pei Anzu walked inside while looking at Guo Qinglang's various identifications. It took more than 10 minutes before he entered the headquarters building of the Irregularity Bureau. This building has 5 floors on the ground, used to operate the security company, but going underground, there are several more floors, and all confidential information is underground. Seeing this, Shen Yueran couldn't help but sigh. As expected of a confidential unit, this is too strict. Not even a fly can fly in, right? Hearing this, Qin Xiao shook her head. No, the auras that these levels can prevent are still humans, non-humans cannot, like Lily of the Valley, you can completely turn invisible and flip in from mid-air. Guo Qinglang listened to their conversation, his body stiffened slightly, and then he said helplessly. But this is the limit of what the country can do. The security system of our Abnormality Bureau is a complete replica of the Supreme Security Bureau in that place, even the top agents and spies cannot break in. And here, although the place is small and the location is not impressive, the security system is top-notch, but even so, it cannot prevent non-human beings. After hearing this, Pei Anzu understood what Director Guo meant and took the initiative to say. This is not difficult. Later I will arrange some defensive formations for the Abnormality Bureau. These formations cannot stop humans, but they can stop all kinds of evil spirits and ghosts. When the time comes, the high-tech security system and my defensive formation will work together, and this abnormal situation will be safer. But having said that, Director Guo, you don't need to worry too much. According to my judgment, there are not many capable aliens who can successfully survive in the world. Most of them live in seclusion and concentrate on their cultivation. They are not very, it may enter human society and cause trouble. Taking a step back, even if there is an abnormality, I can calculate its location in advance and do my best to catch it in advance and try not to cause you any trouble. Alien sounds scary. They do not understand social rules, and each of them has abilities. But most of them are like little foxes, who want to practice transformation, attain Taoism, and become immortals. These people mainly focus on pure cultivation, hide in the mountains and old forests, and rarely come to the world. As for Suzalin, she was originally a human being and became a ghost after her death. She understands the rules of the human world, but because of this, she is more cautious, fearing that humans will discover her differences. As for people like Apup, they have been suppressed since birth and cannot get out, let alone cause trouble in the world. After hearing Pei Anzu's explanation, Guo Qinglang felt a little relieved. He took a few girls to the 5th underground floor. Here he ordered his men to take photos of Little Fox, Linglin, and Ago for storage, create files, and make backup copies. Little Fox and a puppet both have physical bodies and can be captured by electronic instruments, but Suzalin is an out-and-out ghost. However, Suzuran is still a ghost that has been around for hundreds of years. Although she was seriously injured before, the emaciated camel is bigger than a horse. She can temporarily materialize herself, so she can leave photos. After making the record, Pei Anzu helped the Yitiao Bureau get a defensive formation before leaving. At the gate, the three of them parted ways. Qin Xiao first said, "It's a rare occasion for me to come back. I'll go back to see my parents first, and then go to Panchinj for 2 days. If you are free, can we make an appointment to have dinner together tomorrow or the day after tomorrow?" "I have no problem." Shen Yuan was the first to raise his hand. "I am now Nju's assistant. I usually help her run the talisman shop. When I am not traveling, I am basically free." After the words fell, the other two people turned their attention to Pei Anzu and asked for her opinion. Pei Anzu thought for a moment and said, "Okay, let me know when the time and place have been decided, and I'll make the appointment on time." "Then we agreed, we'll meet in the group then," Qin Xiao said with a smile, then got into the car first and sped away. There is a small group between the three of them. It was the group formed by Qin Xiao when Pei Anzu wanted to support education in the mountainous area of Panchinj. The Shen family and the Qin family handed over this charity project to two juniors, and Pei Anzu was a partner. This project is currently progressing steadily, but the small group of the three of them has not chatted for a long time. After Qin Xiao left, Shen Yuan and Pei Anzu also separated. Pei Anzu returned to the Feng family and the small courtyard on the mountain. Not long after he put down his luggage, An Xiang came over and said, "Young madam, the old lady asks you to come over." "Okay, let's go." Pei Anzu didn't hesitate and followed An Xiang directly. The old lady of the Feng family still looks the same as when Pei Anzu first saw her, leaning on the soft couch, looking kind and kind-hearted, quiet and peaceful. "Here you are. How was your outing this time? Where did you go?" the old lady waved to Pei Anzu and asked. Pei Anzu walked to her side and sat down, then answered the question. "I went to several remote villages to collect scenery, and also went to a mountain manor. The scenery was very beautiful." She didn't lie, she just didn't say what she was going to do. The old lady nodded while listening and said, "It seems that you have a good relationship with that girl from the Shen family, and they can travel together. You grew up outside, and I am very happy to have made your own friends after joining this circle." "Yes, thank you, old lady." Pei Anzu agreed with a calm expression. From the moment she entered the Feng family, she had been prepared to maintain superficial peace with the Feng family, as long as it did not affect her cultivation. The old lady is the head of the Feng family. Whether she likes to preach and show off, or whether she has opinions about her origins and wants to remind her at any time, she doesn't mind. For the sake of this entire spiritual mountain, she is happy to be an ordinary person who marries on behalf of others and celebrates happiness. The old lady of the Feng family seemed to be very satisfied with her words and deeds, so she nodded and said, "In this day and age, it's not the time when a woman can't go out or go back to her parents' home after she gets married. If you feel bored on this mountain, just go down and play. The Feng family doesn't need any contribution from you as my granddaughter-in-law. As long as you are in the Feng family, I will take you to see Jinglan after a while." After hearing this, Pei Anzu thought, Jinglan is Feng Jinglan, the eldest young master of the Feng family. Is she finally going to meet her husband, who has been in a vegetative state for 3 years? You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The real daughter has become famous all over the world for fortune-telling. Author, Wang Chris Bone. Chapter 193. The old lady of the Feng family only said that she would take Pei Anzu to see Feng Jinglan, but did not set a specific time. Pei Anzu didn't ask any more questions. After all, she was not interested in her husband who was in a vegetative state and had no desire to explore. After chatting with the old lady for a while, she returned to the yard where she lived. Pei Anzu took out his mobile phone and saw the address Jin Xiao sent in the group. "Sisters, let's have a dinner date at noon tomorrow." "Okay," Shen Yuan was the first to respond positively. Pei Anzu also sent received in the group, saying that he would definitely attend the appointment on time. After sending the message, she stopped watching what Qin Xiao and Shen Yuan were talking about, and went to meditate instead. Nothing can hinder her determination to practice. She sat cross-legged on the couch, put her hands on her knees, palms facing up, and mobilized the spiritual energy from the mountain to wash her meridians and danshan. The meteor iron sword and Ling Yuan pearl residing in her danshan felt this huge spiritual power and became active for a while. They ran out of danshan and hung high above Pei Anzu's head. Coupled with the movement of spiritual power, they became more and more dazzling. Pei Anzu felt the improvement in his cultivation and was in a good mood. This time she entered samadhi, which lasted just 1 day and 1 night. She did not stop practicing until the morning of the next day. "I went to the bathroom to take a shower, changed my clothes, and then went out to have a dinner date with Qin Xiao and Shen Yuan. The place to eat is set at a high-end restaurant owned by the Qin family. As the daughter and heir of the Qin family, Qin Xiao has her own independent box here." The three girls sat down in the box and asked the waiter to serve a table full of dishes. Then Qin Xiao told the outsiders not to disturb them and locked the door of the box. "What are you doing? It's so mysterious." Seeing this, Shen Yuan couldn't help but ask. "I want to release Linglan and let her eat with us," Qin Xiao said. "I have asked Linglan. She can eat human food, but she cannot eat it directly. She needs to perform certain rituals, so I would like to ask Anzu to teach me." Shen Yuan suddenly realized. She doesn't have this problem. The little fox has a physical body, so it can eat directly. Pei Anzu nodded towards Qin Xiao. "You release the lily of the valley, I will teach you today, and I will draw some talismans for you later. Then you only need to burn the talismans according to the method I told you, and you will be able to provide food for the lily of the valley." Soon, Lily of the Valley appeared in front of everyone. At the same time, Pei Anzu also released Up. When she left Ruyi Mountain before, Pei Anzu took Up into the Ling Yuan pearl to hide it from others and make it easier for her to take Up back to the Feng family. There are no outsiders in this box now, so I let Up out so that he can also taste the delicacies of the world. After all, this is what she promised. Soon, everything was ready. There were 6 figures in the box. In addition to 3 human girls, there was also a guardian spirit, a half-human and half-ghost, and a 2-tailed fox. Faced with human delicacies, they feasted and enjoyed themselves. Fortunately for the little fox, there are a lot of popular and spicy food in the Shen family, but Linglan and Up rarely have the opportunity to eat these things. They are very fond of modern food, and they are not afraid of eating too much, so they will eat the whole table. All the food was finished. After eating and drinking, the 2 of them returned to where they should be. When the waiter came to clean up, they couldn't help but be shocked. Do girls nowadays have such a big appetite? A large table with more than 30 dishes. How could the 3 of them finish it so quickly? As for the little fox, under the influence of the blindness, the waiter only thought it was an ordinary pet and didn't think it was anything special. So after Pei Anzu and the others left, rumors about Miss Jean's and her friends' delicious food spread in this restaurant. The real daughter has become famous all over the world for fortune-telling. Author, Wang Chris Bone. Chapter 194. Chapter 194. Go somewhere first. After lunch, Pei Anzu took the other 2 people to her own house, which is the Baiki Lake community. This house was a gift from the Qin family after they helped Qin Xiao deal with the ghost king Zhao Yanshu. Before going to the Feng family a few days ago, she didn't want to have much interaction with the Pei family, so she had been living here. After entering the door, Pei Anzu asked Shen Yueran to entertain Qin Xiao, while he went to the study to draw talismans. Her talisman storage is running low. Now her talismans are in great demand. In addition to using them for herself, they also need to supply the talismans and sell them in talisman shops, so there are not many left. At the same time, she also drew some offering talismans for Qin Xiao so that Qin Xiao could feed Linglan. In the living room, Shen Yueran brought Qin Xiao food and drink, and the two sat on the sofa chatting. Qin Xiao asked curiously, "Why are you so familiar with this place? It feels like your own home." Shen Yueran explained with a smile. "Anzu has been living here before she married into the Feng family. I worked as her assistant. In order to be closer to her, I bought a house opposite and come here with her every day. After she goes to Fengjia Mountain, she usually doesn't come down easily. I help her clean and tidy up the house, and occasionally take some talismans to deliver to customers in the online store. When I'm free and bored, I'll stock up on food and drink here. No matter when Anzu comes, I don't need to worry." Hearing this, Qin Xiao couldn't help but stretched out his finger, tapped her forehead, and said with a smile, "You have really grown up. When did this sweet girl who was pampered by so many people become so considerate?" Shen Yueran blushed when she was told that, and muttered something like "people always have to grow up," which made Qin Xiao couldn't help but laugh. At this moment, Pei Anzu came out with a stack of talismans, handed it to Qin Xiao, and said, "Take these. If you want to feed Suzalin, or buy new clothes for her, stick the talisman on something and burn it together, and she will receive it." When Qin Xiao heard this, he was immediately overjoyed. Its great lily of the valley is still wearing her ancient dress. It is said that she was wearing it when she died. It has been hundreds of years. That Zhao Yinshu is also a scammer. He didn't know how to buy her some new clothes for so many years. Doesn't he know that girls love to be beautiful? With these talismans, I can give Sudley a lot of good things, beautiful clothes, exquisite jewelry, all kinds of cosmetics. Girls have to be pampered. Everyone couldn't help but laugh after hearing this. Although Linglan can be said to be Qin Xiao's ancestor in terms of age, it seems that Qin Xiao is raising Linglan as his sister and daughter. The main reason is that Suzuran did not live a good life during her lifetime, and she lost her life in her prime years, which is really pitiful. Qin Xiao put the talisman away carefully and said, "This time I came back temporarily because I have to go to the Bureau of Foreign Affairs to register. I won't be able to stay for long. There is still a lot of work waiting for me in Panchinj, so I will leave first. Let's get together next time we have a chance." After saying this, Qin Xiao was about to get up and leave, and Pei Anzu and Shen Yueran saw her off. "Anzu is going around exorcising evil spirits and catching ghosts now. Maybe the next commission we receive will be in Panchinj? Then, we will go and play with you again." Welcome. Qin Xiao smiled and left Baikahu community. After she left, Shen Yueran asked Pei Anzu, "When will you start your 8th live broadcast? Obviously we just came back from outside, but I can't wait to go out again. You don't know, after you return to Feng's house, I will be bored to death here alone." Hearing this, Pei Anzu smiled and shook his head, saying, "Don't worry, I've calculated it. It's not the 8th live broadcast yet. I have to go wash up before starting the next live broadcast." "Where?" Shen Yueran was curious. "The old residence of the Zhao family," Pei Anzu said. "When we were at the Mountain Manor in Pingcheng, Master Zhao said that his hometown stores a lot of Xu Yungan's classics and techniques, and I have to get them all back. In the past, due to the curse of the great demon, the entire Suanmen declined. Now that she has traveled through time, she has become the only variable in this curse. It is destined in the dark. Now that she has received this identity, she should make some contribution to today's Suanmen. The first step is to take back the Shiyung and Kung Fu books. End of this chapter. The real daughter has become famous all over the world for fortune-telling. Author, Wang Chris Bone. Chapter 195. Shen Yueran decided to go with Pei Anzu. Although she did not accept the commission this time, Shen Yueran considers herself a qualified assistant. She will go wherever the boss goes and resolutely follow his footsteps. Pei Anzu did not object and only said, "Then wait for my news. We won't just leave. We still need to tell the Foreign Affairs Bureau." Although the Kung Fu books stored in the old residence of the Zhao family originally belonged to Xu Yungan, the Zhao family has been their actual owners for hundreds of years. Shiyun Temple has now completely declined, and is no longer as prosperous as it was hundreds of years ago. Under such circumstances, the Zhao family may not be tempted to take those martial arts books as their own. Pei Anzu went to retrieve the classics under the banner of Xu Yungan, but the Zhao family may not be willing to let go. She also did not want to conflict with the Zhao family over the ownership of these classics. So, the best way is to come forward in a different situation. Master Zhao is currently serving his sentence in the Yubiao Bureau, and he is endorsed by the Yubiao Bureau for a suitable reason. After hearing Pei Anzu's explanation, Shen Yueran made an okay gesture and said, "No problem, I'm always ready whenever you say we'll leave, we'll leave." Pei Anzu told Officer Du about this matter. Police Officer Du was probably busy, so he didn't reply immediately. Pei Anzu didn't wait any longer. She went back to the study and drew another batch of talismans, handed them to Shen Yueran for delivery, and then returned to Feng's house. She meditated until around 12 o'clock in the middle of the night when her cell phone rang. She opened it and saw a message from Officer Du. "Master Pei, I'm sorry for replying so late, it's mainly because I'm too busy during this period. If you want to use the Yitiao Bureau to come forward and take Master Zhao back to Zhao's house to get the classics and techniques, you may have to wait a few days, because the Yitiao Bureau has not been able to spare any manpower recently." After reading the message, Pei Anzu immediately called him, and he was quickly connected. "Master Pei is still up so late." "Well, I was meditating just now," Pei Anzu replied and asked, "Why can't the Yitiao Bureau draw out its manpower?" Police Officer Du sighed and said, "To be honest, the Irregularity Bureau is busy precisely because of the two major cases you discovered during your 7th live broadcast. The case of the Zhou family's mountain manor in Pingcheng has not yet been completely concluded. The process of how the Zhou family brought the young child to the mountain manor and who was involved in the process need to be explored deeply, because the police believe that child abduction is involved. Therefore, the Pingcheng police came to us every 3 days to collect various information and let us cooperate in the investigation. Then there is the living village in Ruyi Mountain in Machen, which attracts the attention of the superiors. The superiors feel that since there is such a village in the world that has been living in seclusion for hundreds of years, there may be similar situations in other places. Therefore, our Abnormality Bureau needs to review the files and information from at least 50 years ago, summarize some abnormal situations, and see if they are also caused by monsters and monsters. The most important thing is that Ruyi Mountain used to be a tourist attraction. The local tourism bureau hopes that we can come forward to make an official statement to clarify the case of missing tourists in Ruyi Mountain, because they want to restart this scenic spot and develop the local tourism industry. But how can the outside world know about the living village? I really need to clarify, isn't this causing unnecessary panic? So, this matter is still being debated. These things are all very trivial because I am a participant at the scene. You have to ask me about many things, therefore, I am so busy that I don't have time to chat with you until now. So, you may have to wait for 2 or 3 days to go to the Zhao family's old residence. I will finish my work and then go with you in person." After hearing this, Pei Anzu couldn't help but sigh that Officer Du was really busy, as if there was no one else in the bureau except him. However, it is also understandable. After all, The Bureau of Abnormalities is a newly established department. Many functions and processes are being slowly discovered. It is normal that it cannot cope with so many things in a short period of time. So Pei Anzu agreed. It's okay to wait a few days, thanks to Officer Du. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Real Daughter has become famous all over the world for fortune telling. Author, Wang Chris Bone. Chapter 196. Since Officer Du will still be busy for a long time, the trip to the Zhao family's old residence can only be put on hold for the time being. Therefore, in addition to showing up in front of An Xiang 3 times a day, Pei Anzu meditated in seclusion and practiced. With the support of the spiritual energy on Fengjia Lingshan Mountain, her cultivation level increased rapidly. After practicing for 2 days, Pei Anzu learned that Officer Du went on a business trip to Pingcheng and would not be able to come back for the time being, so she thought about it and started the 8th live broadcast. As before, many viewers were waiting in the live broadcast room very early. As soon as Pei Anzu started broadcasting, everyone rushed in. This live broadcast took a long time. What about the follow-up to the last live broadcast? Have you found the bones of their ancestor always believe in the light? And the red envelope adventurer Xiaoying received, didn't it mean there was something wrong? Why is there no follow-up? The last live broadcast felt a bit rushed, and there was no explanation of how to solve it. King Zufari used to show us the process of exorcising evil spirits and catching ghosts, but now the process is gone. King Zufari Lord, when you complete the commission, please continue the live broadcast. We also want to see you beating ghosts online. The audience expressed similar thoughts to each other, that is, they were not satisfied with the last live broadcast. After all, whether it is the Zhou family manor or the living village of Ruyi Mountain, it is not a trivial matter and can easily cause panic, so Pei Anzu did not live broadcast the process as before. But in order to give an explanation to the audience, she briefly explained a few words. The red envelope adventurer Xiaoying received was money to buy her life. Someone used magic to borrow her life to extend her life. This is reversal of cause and effect and goes against the harmony of nature. The Taoist priest who performed the sorcery has been arrested, and the beneficiary of the life extension has also died. I hope everyone will not have illusions about these sorcery, because you cannot afford the price. In addition, the grandfather who always believes in the light has been found and successfully moved into their family's ancestral grave. You don't have to worry about visiting the wrong grave in the future. Everyone accepted Pei Anzu's explanation well and discussed the last case in a very harmonious manner. At this moment, a gorgeous special effect flashed on the screen. Someone tipped the Sea View Villa and requested a video link. This person's nickname is Satisfied and Happy. His profile picture is that of a fat and white child, with a tiger-like head and a tiger-like head. He has a bright smile and looks very cute. This name and this avatar make it easy for people to guess their identity. She is a middle-aged woman in her 50s, who has nothing to do after retirement and takes care of her children. Sure enough, when the video was connected, a slightly older face appeared on the screen, much older than the 50-year-old that everyone had guessed. Her hair is almost completely white, and her weather-beaten face is full of traces of overwork. Contentment continuously happy. It seemed that her eyesight was a little bad. She squinted her eyes for a long time and then said, "Are you the Kingzu Immortal Lord?" They said you are very capable at telling fortunes, divination, exorcising evil spirits and catching ghosts. Pei Anzu looked at her for a while, nodded and said, "I am Kingzu Immortal Lord, what do you want me to be? I don't count my fortune, I'm looking for you to catch ghosts." Contented and Happy said directly, "They said they can make you take action for 1,000 yuan, you have to solve the problem for me, otherwise I will ask you to refund the money. With a fierce attitude, he seems to be a person who is not easy to mess with. I don't know where she came to know about this live broadcast room, but the person who recommended it to her obviously didn't make it clear. 1000 yuan, this is the money for Pei Anzu to tell fortunes. If you want her to exorcise evil spirits and catch ghosts, there will be another price. The specific amount will depend on her mood. Meeting someone who has a chance to meet you, it's not like she doesn't take any money, but most of the time, because exorcising evil spirits and catching ghosts contaminates the cause and effect, she has to collect money to settle the cause and effect. But Pei Anzu didn't tell Contented and Always Happy any of this. She only said, "You asked me to catch ghosts. Have you encountered a ghost? When did you encounter it? What kind of ghost was it? Did it cause any harm to you? If you can, please tell me this information." After hearing this, I suddenly became impatient and said, "Why are you asking so much? I'll give you money and you'll catch the ghost, then you come to my place and catch the ghost that's haunting my house. Isn't that enough?" Hearing this, Pei Anzu smiled. "Auntie, that's not what you said. There is a reason why ghosts haunt people. If they are ferocious evil ghosts, they are just killing innocent people indiscriminately. But the other ghosts will have to find a reason for her to haunt you, so that I can take the right medicine." Contented and Always Happy with a look of disdain on his face, he said, "What reason? A ghost wants to harm people, what other reason can there be? It's just that our family is easy to bully. I asked you, can you do it? You moron, if something happens to our family, I want you to look good." As the words of contentment and happiness fell, the barrage in the live broadcast room suddenly exploded. "What the hell? This ant is so stupid. How dare she threaten Kingzu Immortal Lord? Is she afraid that she is tired of living? I have followed the live broadcast several times, but this is the first time I have seen such an arrogant person. This ant has a mean look on her face. She must have done something bad to get haunted by a ghost, right? How could she be sure there was a ghost?" The other clients all suspected that something was wrong around them. She wanted to catch ghosts as soon as she opened her mouth. How could there be something wrong with her? Pei Anzu laughed angrily. She nodded and said, "Okay, I'll catch ghosts for you. Tell me your home address and I'll come now." Seeing that Pei Anzu didn't ask any more questions, he immediately smiled and told his home address. I don't know if she is ignorant or if she is really not afraid of revealing her privacy. She revealed her home address in front of so many people in the live broadcast room. Kangchang, Daong District, Lanping Road, Jincheng Community. The real daughter has become famous all over the world for fortune-telling. Author, Wang Chris Bone. Chapter 197. Pei Anzu wrote down the address and began to pack his things. She took out her backpack, put the bagua plate and the spirit rope in it, and then stuffed in a stack of talismans and some odds and ends. Finally, transfer the live broadcast room on your computer to your mobile phone and get ready to go out. At this time, the audience kept sending comments. The Kingzu Immortal is going on a business trip again. Wouldn't that mean we have to turn off the live broadcast? This live broadcast hasn't been long yet. Sigh, I'm used to it. I can only wait for Kingzu Immortal to resolve the matter before showing us the follow-up. When can I watch anchors beating ghosts online again? I will not turn off the live broadcast this time and let you watch the whole process. Pei Anzu looked at the audience's words and spoke, and then said to Contented and Happy, "I will be at your house in 2.5 hours. After saying this, she turned off the microphone in the live broadcast room and put her mobile phone into her trouser pocket. Outside the yard, Aunt Xiang was instructing several servants to take care of the garden. When she saw Pei Anzu, she asked, "Young lady, are you going out again?" "Yes, please tell the old lady." Pei Anzu nodded and left the Feng family. Shen Yuran is a qualified assistant. She learned from the live broadcast room that Pei Anzu was going to Kangcheng, so she immediately arranged a vehicle. It was a nanny car with a large space in which she could rest or work. The nanny car picked up Pei Anzu near the foot of Fengjia mountain. Why do you think of driving this kind of car? Pei Anzu asked. Shen Yueran explained. I checked the address she mentioned. Kangcheng is right next to Yunchinj. It's very close. You can get there in just over 2 hours by taking the expressway. In this case, it's obviously not as convenient for us to take a plane or a train as driving, so I didn't book a ticket and hired a driver to drive. I heard you say in the live broadcast room again that you don't plan to turn off the live broadcast, so you have to interact with the audience during the time in the car, right? I made a nanny car so that you can draw symbols on it. You know, the business of our talisman shop is booming, and the supply of goods is never enough. If you have time, you can draw more. Besides, the number of fans in our live broadcast room has exceeded 500,000. I think we can give out a wave of fan benefits. How about a live broadcast lottery, and the prize is the charm you draw? Shen Yueran also explained that this is a marketing method that can increase the stickiness of fans. Pei Anzu didn't care about marketing, but her fans were all her potential customers, so she didn't say anything more and acquiesced to Shen Yueran's arrangement. After the two people got into the car, the driver started the vehicle. Shen Yueran took out the yellow paper, brushes, cinnabar, and other items from the box at the back, placed them one by one on Pei Anzu's table, and asked casually. Xiaozu, I remember that you had to turn off the live broadcast several times before when you went away. You said you would turn it on depending on the situation, but later, in order to protect the privacy of the client, you never turned it on again. Every time, when the matter is over, the police will report it or the next live broadcast, you will explain the follow-up to the audience. Why is it different this time? Looking at Pei Anzu's first 7 live broadcasts, there seems to be a pattern. If the client is in the same city as her and she can reach the client quickly, then she will start the live broadcast throughout the process. For example, the things about Qiu Lian, the century-old resentful ghost, Li Gui, the pen immortal from Pingcheng F University, and Qin Xiao and Zhao Yanchu. But if she has to travel far away, such as the cases in Panjinj and Songcheng, she usually chooses not to broadcast live to save trouble. But this time, it seems to be different. After hearing this, Pei Anzu couldn't help but smile and asked. Then have you noticed that I will only broadcast the whole process live if it is a case where ghosts are causing trouble and the impact is not too big? Why would I selectively conceal cases like women's abduction, missing children, and the living dead in the mountains that would cause a huge sensation in society? In fact, what I protect is never the privacy of the client, but the victim. When the client appears in my live broadcast room, it is no longer considered private, and I only provide a certain degree of protection to the victims of those cases based on different situations. After hearing this, Shen Yueran nodded first to express his understanding. Soon, everything was ready. Pei Anzu put on the Neo God mask again, took out his mobile phone from his pocket, turned on the microphone, and continued the live broadcast. The audience can all see that Kingzu Immortal Lord is in the car at the moment. When Pei Anzu said that in order to thank the fans for their support, a live broadcast of the lottery would be held within these 2 hours, and the prize would be a talisman, everyone was very excited and enthusiastic. I don't know who spread the news. In a short period of time, the number of people in the live broadcast room skyrocketed again, and there were tens of thousands more people in an instant. Shen Yueran worked conscientiously as a little assistant, interacting with the audience on behalf of Pei Anzu. She mobilized the atmosphere in the live broadcast room and organized a lottery so that Pei Anzu could concentrate on drawing the symbols, which saved a lot of work. Contented and always happy hearing that Pei Anzu was going to draw a lucky draw to give away talismans, he jumped up and down in the live broadcast room, constantly trying to increase his sense of presence. The free talismans should be given to me first, because I spent 1,000 yuan. Did you not take my commission to heart at all? Our family is almost going crazy being tortured by ghosts, but you are not worried at all? Kingzu Immortal Lord, Draw a talisman now so that I can deal with ghosts. Faced with the clamor of content with contentment, Shen Yuan just glanced at it and ignored it, while Pei Anzu concentrated on drawing the talisman and didn't see it at all. On the other hand, the audience in the live broadcast room could not see her bossy face, and many people came out to criticize her. 2.5 hours later, the nanny van parked at the entrance of Jinjinj community. Pei Anzu was carrying a backpack and a miniature camera on his collar. He got out of the car with his mobile phone and took Shen Yuan through the gate. Jinjinj community is a relatively old community, and the houses look like they are 30 or 40 years old. The access control at the gate is just a decoration, and the security booth is empty. Many people come in and out without any identity verification at all. The environment and greening of the community are not good either. There is only a small square with a lot of fitness equipment, but it is also rusty and mottled. The viewers in the live broadcast room saw everything about the community through Pei Anzu's camera. This place is too shabby. There are no street lights or surveillance in the community. Isn't it too old? No wonder Contented and Happy attaches so much importance to 1,000 yuan. Looking at the environment, her family should not be considered rich, and 1,000 yuan is not a small amount. Not an elevator room. It's okay if it's on a low floor, but if it's too high, won't you die from exhaustion when you climb up? Pei Anzu didn't care what the audience said. From the moment she stepped into the gate of Jinjinj community, she had a panoramic view of the surrounding scenes. Finally, her eyes fell on the 9th floor of Building 3. This is the only room in the entire community that is filled with gloomy air, and the resentment has almost condensed into substance, gushing out, silently speaking of violence and noise. The client hasn't said which floor she lives on yet. How about I ask? Shen Yuan said. No need, Unit 3 and 9, let's go straight up. Pei Anzu pointed, the ghost that haunts contentment and happiness is in this room. The real daughter has become famous all over the world for fortune-telling. Author, Wang Crisp Bone. Chapter 198. Shen Yuan said nothing more, just hugged the little fox and followed Pei Anzu upstairs. The stairs in the old house are narrow and dim, and no one cleans them specifically. The corridors are full of dust. If you step a little heavier, a cloud of smoke will be thrown up. Shen Yuan rarely entered such an environment and couldn't help but cough a few times. In the live broadcast room, the audience held their breath and waited quietly for the development of the matter. There were occasionally a few sporadic barrages with words such as Buddha bless or Bodhisattva bless. Seemed to recognize the corridor of his residence, and he was immediately delighted. Ah, you're here, so fast. The door is already open. Just come in when you arrive. Accompanied by the sound of satisfied, always happy, Pei Anzu and Shen Yuan climbed up until they reached the 9th floor. Shen Yuan was already panting from exhaustion. There is no elevator, it's really terrible. There are 2 houses on the 9th floor, located on both sides of the stairs, door to door. The door of the house on the left is closed tightly, and there are many small rolled-up advertisements placed on the iron security door. It looks like no one has been in or out for a long time. The door of the house on the right was open, and Contented and Happy walked out and welcomed Pei Anzu and Shen Yuan in with a smile. Oh, you're finally here, come on, help me conquer the ghosts in my house. As she spoke, when Pei Anzu and the others entered, she closed the door to block the outside view. Pei Anzu stepped into the living room, glanced around the room, and immediately saw the female ghost standing in the corner, exuding a steady stream of resentment. The female ghost's clothes were in tatters, and her original appearance could not be seen. She was covered in blood stains, and some traces of blue and purple could be faintly seen in the parts that were not covered by the blood stains. She seemed to be in the same state as when she died. She was very skinny and fragile. The female ghost noticed Pei Anzu's gaze and stared back without hesitation, then bared her teeth and threatened, "No matter who you are, you should get out of here." Pei Anzu didn't reply, he just moved his eyes away, looked at Contented and Happy, and asked. Auntie, are you the only one in your family? Of course I'm the only one, said Satisfaction, the ghost in this house is very powerful. My son and the others have all moved out, but I'm not afraid of her, so she can't do anything to me. Since you are not afraid, why are you looking for me? Pei Anzu asked again. Contentment is always happy rolled his eyes and said. It's free to rent a house outside. If you kill this ghost earlier, my son and the others will move back soon, so they don't have to rent a house. Why are you talking so much nonsense? Hurry up and do something, I didn't come to you to watch a show. Pei Anzu glanced at her with a half smile, and then said. Sorry, I can't kill this ghost yet. What? Why are you here if I can't kill you? Satisfaction Changle's face changed. You can't be a liar, cheating me out of money, right? If you can't do it, just give me back the 1000 yuan, and I'll give you another. Find someone. The ghost that I can't kill, even if other people come, can't kill it. Pei Anzu said with a smile, the ghost in this house has a lot to do with your family. If you want to kill her, you must. Everyone who has anything to do with her must be present. Contented and always happy looked at Pei Anzu steadily and retorted. I think you are a liar, that ghost is here to harm us, how could it have anything to do with our family? Go away, I don't want you to return the 1000 yuan, so leave quickly. Pei Anzu did not move, but the audience in the live broadcast room had already noticed something was wrong. Why does this aunt look so guilty? Earlier she was looking forward to seeing Lord Kingzhu, but when she heard that this ghost had something to do with her family, she wanted to drive others away. Why did she think she wanted to hide something? What the person above said is right. Don't do bad things and don't be afraid of ghosts knocking on the door. Even these ghosts came to her house and said they had nothing to do with their family. I don't believe it. King Zufari has taught us about cause and effect before. If this ghost has nothing to do with her but harms their family without authorization, it will damage the moral character. I am ready to call the police. I'm from Kangcheng, and I live only half an hour's drive from Jincheng community. I plan to go to the scene to see what's going on. Pei Anzu didn't know what the audience in the live broadcast room was guessing. She just took out a talisman from her bag, punched it out in the air, and stuck it on the female ghost in the corner. After a while, the female ghost who was originally invisible gradually materialized and appeared in front of everyone. Seeing this, his face was horrified, and he subconsciously took a big step back. This is the troublemaker in your family. Why, don't you recognize it? Pei Anzu asked. How do I know her? I don't know where she came from, but she came to our house to cause trouble. She is a black-minded person who is not afraid of being reborn as an animal in the next life. Contented and Happy cursed at the female ghost. After she finished scolding, she said to Pei Anzu. Since you can make her live, you must have some skills, so just take her in. If you think 1000 yuan is not enough, I will give you another 200 yuan. Shen Yuan. Audiences. Anyone with some common sense knows that the business of exorcising evil spirits and catching ghosts is expensive but not marketable. There is currently only one green bamboo immortal lord in the entire dragon kingdom who has such skills. Others asked her to take action, and the 1000 yuan in the live broadcast room was just a stepping stone. Afterwards, she didn't know how much it would cost to offset this causal debt. How about being content and always happy? It's only 200 yuan, which sounds like Pei Anzu has taken advantage of it. The female ghost found out that she had a physical body and was seen by others. She was a little panicked for a moment, but soon the anger and resentment in her heart took over, and she rushed towards Contented and Happy with all her teeth and claws. But the next second, she found that she couldn't move at all. It turns out that the talisman on her body not only allows her to act, but also restricts her actions. Let me go. Let me go. I'm going to kill her, the female ghost roared. Hurry, destroy her, destroy her. Contented and Happy was also frightened and shouted, 200 is not enough, I will add 500. Pei Anzu looked at the fear flashing in Contented and often Happy's eyes and said, I'm not lying to you, I really can't kill her. With my current ability, I can only imprison her and make her unable to move, but it can only last for 2 hours. When the time is up, she will be able to resume action. Just now I was caught off guard and relied on a sneak attack to imprison her with the talisman. Once she is ready, I will no longer be able to succeed. I can't guarantee what will happen then. So the only thing that can be done now is to completely subdue her within these 2 hours. And this requires your cooperation, Auntie. Contented and always Happy swallowed nervously, looked at the female ghost, then at Pei Anzu, and asked, how can I cooperate? What ability can I, an ordinary old woman, do to cooperate? Find all the people related to her. I need their blood. Use the blood to draw talismans and use the talisman to form an array, so that she can completely lose her ability to resist. Pei Anzu said, hurry, we only have 2 hours. Time. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The real daughter has become famous all over the world for fortune telling. Author, Wang Chris Bone. Chapter 199. Pei Anzu's tone sounded neither urgent nor slow, but I don't know why, but it gave people a sense of urgency for no reason. Especially the 2-hour time limit makes the heart of content with contentment tense. She looked at the female ghost in the corner with her teeth and claws snarling, as if she was about to break free from her restraints in the next second, rush towards her, and tear her neck into pieces. Are you telling the truth? Only the blood of people related to her can kill her. Contented and Happy asked again. Of course. Pei Anzu nodded decisively. Contentment is always happy. I gritted my teeth, turned around and entered the bedroom with my mobile phone in hand. Soon there was the sound of voices coming, it was vague and hard to hear clearly. Of course, the bedroom door couldn't stop Pei Anzu, but she could hear him clearly. A few minutes later, Contented and always Happy came out and asked. I called. They will be here in half an hour. Is it too late? There's enough time. Pei Anzu nodded and said again, before they arrive, take me around your house to help you get rid of bad luck. This female ghost has obviously been in the house for a long time, and her resentment has already enveloped the entire house, and even has a tendency to spread outwards. If it is not dealt with, the people living here will be affected, ranging from serious illness to death. When I heard this, I was immediately frightened. Then you have to help me get rid of the bad luck. Don't let the bad luck affect my eldest grandson. After saying this, she turned around and scolded the female ghost again. You rotten-hearted thing. If you die, you will die. You will not go to the underworld to be reincarnated, but you will come to haunt us. I tell you, when they come to Jinbang, they want you to look good. Bitch, you're useless when you're alive, and you won't stop even after you're dead. Do you really think I'm afraid of you? This tone and attitude don't sound like he doesn't know the female ghost at all. Even, Contented and Happy seemed to have a lot of objections to this female ghost. She cursed her very dirty, and a series of unpleasant words came out of her mouth. The angry female ghost's eyes were bloodshot. If it weren't for Pei Anzu's talisman holding her down, the female ghost might have lost her mind long ago, turned into a vicious ghost, and went on a killing spree. The audience in the live broadcast room felt deeply uncomfortable when they saw this. This is the first time in my life that I have seen someone curse someone so dirty. King Zhu Immortal Lord has criticized others before, but she never used such disgusting words. Isn't this Contented and Happy herself a woman? Why use such disgusting words to call female ghosts? As I said a long time ago, she looked mean. That's not right. Did you make a mistake? Contented and happy, aren't you a victim? If I were haunted by a female ghost and the lives of my family were threatened, I would be like her. Is there a new guy upstairs? Contented and happy, it is not certain whether he is a victim or not. Why? Who is an old fan who doesn't know that King Zu Immortal is so violent that he beats up ghosts? A century-old grudge ghost can't even defeat her, let alone this mere female ghost? Yes, King Zu Immortal Lord claimed that he could not destroy her. There must be another reason. I have to say that fans who have grown up watching Pei Anzu's live broadcast have a certain understanding of her style of doing things. Everyone knows the principle of the whole picture is not known, no evaluation, and they will no longer congratulate people casually, but they have more in-depth thinking about the incident itself. It doesn't mean whoever asks for help first is justified. Pei Anzu, led by Contented and always happy, walked around the whole room, occasionally posting a charm on the wall to dispel the resentment and gloom in the room. Round over through the air. Thinking of this, she suddenly beamed with joy, feeling proud that she had only spent 1,000 yuan to find such a capable master. About 20 minutes later, there was a knock on the door. Contentment and happiness went to open the door, and then a large group of people came in, headed by a man who looked very similar to Contentment and Contentment. It was not difficult to tell that they were mother and son, and he was holding a man in his hand. The little boy is exactly the one in the online avatar of Content with Contentment. The man and woman who followed him were older, about 50 or 60 years old, and were of the same generation as Contented and Happy. After that, there was a slightly younger man, about 30 years old, playing games with a mobile phone in his hand, and cursing. The mage doesn't know how to give a signal? The other side has provided support several times. Where are you? Compared with dishes, if you put a lot of rice on the screen, the chicken will be better than you. The young man didn't seem to care what was going on here. Everything was not as important as the game in his hand. A large group of people walked in, and the whole living room seemed a bit crowded. The door behind him was closed, and Contentment and Happiness walked up to Pei Anzu and said, "Master, these are all the people who have something to do with her. They are all here. What are you going to do? Do you need a lot of blood? I'll get a bowl." Pei Anzu said nothing. She faced everyone's gaze and smiled slowly. "What's the hurry? She's already here, don't you want to see her? You are all the people closest to her in her life. She died and became a ghost and could not be reincarnated. Don't you want to know the reason at all?" Everyone looked unhappy, and the older woman said, "Master, as the saying goes, people and ghosts have different paths. She has turned into a ghost and is not from the same world as us. You should accept her quickly." Pei Anzu ignored it and only said, "You don't care, but I want to know the reason. Since everyone is here, let's listen to what the real sufferer has to say." After finishing speaking, Pei Anzu turned to look at the female ghost. "I know you have a grievance. Today is your best chance to redress your grievance. There is no such shop after passing this village. You make your own choice. Do you want to calm down?" The female ghost, who was originally struggling and going crazy, froze when she heard this, as if someone had pressed the stop button. The next second, she asked, "Aren't you here to kill me?" It is indeed the bounden duty of people in Suanmen to exorcise evil spirits, capture ghosts, and subjugate demons, but they cannot kill innocent people indiscriminately, which will contaminate the cause and effect. Pei Anzu said, "You are unwilling to do so, and rely on resentment and hate, lingering in the world, isn't it waiting for an opportunity to sink into you and Zaoxu?" The female ghost looked moved, her emotions were surging, and her eyes were filled with blood and tears. Ghosts cannot cry, but too strong love and hate can make them cry blood. Everyone in the room was caught off guard by this sudden turn of events. Contented and Happy screamed, interrupting the conversation between Pei Anzu and the female ghost, and asked, What are you doing? Aren't you here to conquer her? What reluctance, what grievance, what nonsense are you talking about? If you can't deal with this ghost, get out of here. As she spoke, she winked at the others. Everyone reacted and said that Pei Anzu was a liar who was just trying to gain fame and wanted to drive her out. Obviously, everyone in this family is hiding something. They are happy to collect ghosts, but if they want to pursue the story behind this female ghost, they will strongly oppose it because it is a secret that cannot be told to outsiders. The real daughter has become famous all over the world for fortune-telling. Author, Wang Chris Bone. Chapter 200. A group of people were pushing and shoving, trying to drive Pei Anzu and Shen Yueran out. But the next second, an iron chain flew out of the backpack, directly tying the group of people together tightly. This is the soul-binding rope, which Pei Anzu seized from the liar in Hanjia village. She rarely used this magical weapon before, but now, if she wants to restrict the actions of the contented group of people without causing harm to them, the soul-binding rope is the best prop. Little Moon, stop their mouths first, Pei Anzu said. I am not a person who accepts one-sided words. When I finish hearing the grievances of the victims, I will naturally give them a chance to defend themselves. Okay, Shen Yueran responded, and then took out a stack of talisman papers from his bag. This is the gag talisman painted by Pei Anzu. Its only function is to shut up people. To her, this talisman is quite useless and not as useful as the gag spell. But for Shen Yueran, who doesn't understand magic, it is a very good tool. As Pei Anzu's assistant, Shen Yueran had to prepare some things on her body to help with minor matters at any time, and this gag talisman was one of them. She put the talisman on the group of people, including the 3 or 4-year-old boy, and soon they were speechless. After making all preparations, Pei Anzu sat on the sofa. From her position, the female ghost and the group of people who are content and happy are just to her left and right, and can be captured by the miniature camera on her collar. Come, tell me your grievances now in front of the live broadcast room. Pei Anzu looked at the female ghost and motioned for her to speak. The female ghost glared at the group of people and introduced herself. My name is Wang Xiaoqan, and I am the daughter-in-law of this family. The old woman who asked you to catch ghosts is my mother-in-law, and her son is my husband. The remaining ones are my biological parents and my biological brother. Where is that little boy? Shen Yueran asked. Is he your son? What about my son? That's the mistress's son, Wang Xiaoqan said harshly. It's because of this child that I died. After saying this, contented and always happy became excited. She couldn't speak or move, but she struggled hard. Her face turned red from suppressing it, and her eyes were full of anger, as if she wanted to shut up Wang Xiaoqan. But no one paid any attention to her. Witnessed by tens of thousands of viewers in the live broadcast room, Wang Xiaoqan finally had the opportunity to express all her grievances and unwillingness. Wang Xiaoqan's life is a tragedy ruined by the patriarchal mentality. She was born in a family that highly favored sons over daughters. The elders in the family believed that their sons were golden nuggets, the lifeblood and the treasures that would carry on the family line. So, as the eldest daughter in the family, she was destined to face countless contempt as soon as she was born. The title of a cheap girl, losing money, and the like, since she just heard people, she has been accompanied by her. Long-term abuse and suppression by parents has created a character of low self-esteem and cowardice. She was unable to resist and had no strength to escape. She could only find a way to study, hoping to be admitted to a distant university and escape from everything in her native family. Unexpectedly, when she finished her high school entrance examination and was about to enter high school, her mother became pregnant again. Find someone to give him money and got him checked out. He found out he was a son. Therefore, Wang Xiaoqan only has the chance to complete 9 years of compulsory education. No matter how good her grades are, her parents will not allow her to spend another penny, because all of it will be left to her younger brother. Wang Xiaoqan, who had just graduated from junior high school, was forced into working in a factory by her parents. 14 hours a day on the assembly line and the heavy work pressure made her almost breathless. More importantly, she couldn't get paid. The factory is not a formal factory. Many workers do not sign labor contracts, and they also recruit underage girls like Wang Xiaoqan. With the interference of her parents, the factory paid her wages directly to her parents, and she didn't get a penny. Therefore, even if she wanted to save money and run away, there was no way. In this way, she worked in the factory for several years, thinking every day about how to leave this family when she turned 18. Like this, day after day, she finally reached adulthood at the age of 18, but before she could take any action, another accident happened. On her way home from the night shift, Wang Xiaoqan met a drunken man. The drunkard was very timid. Seeing that she was alone, he dragged her to the grass next to her and violated her. This drunkard was Wang Xiaoqan's later husband, Chen Jun. After the incident, Chen Jun woke up and fled in a hurry. Wang Xiaoqan returned home with traces of his injuries and tattered clothes. After arriving home, what awaited her was not the concern of her parents, but a severe beating. Her parents thought she was embarrassed and asked her why she didn't die and how she still had the honor to live after something like this happened. What's more, they were sad because they couldn't get a good price. Your second uncle has introduced you to a marriage, and the man will give you a gift of 100,000 yuan, just because you have studied before and are young. But you actually got together with another man. How do you expect anyone to want you? Why did I give birth to such a like you? Having just been violated by a strange man and beaten by her biological parents, Wang Xiaoqan was desperate and had thoughts of death. So, the next day, dragging her bruised body, she ran to buy a bottle of pesticide. She planned to die in one fell swoop. But she didn't die. Before she could drink, her parents stopped her because Chen Jun came to propose marriage and promised to give her a bride price of 50,000 yuan. When my parents heard that such a worn-out shoe could be sold for 50,000 yuan, they hurriedly agreed. They didn't care whether Wang Xiaoqan reached the legal age for marriage, but after receiving Chen Jun's money, they happily sent their daughter over immediately. In fact, Chen Jun proposed marriage only because he was afraid that Wang Xiaoqan would call the police. At that time, Chen Jun had just been admitted to graduate school and had a bright future. If the violated girl called the police and the news spread, he would be finished. He listened to his mother's suggestion and thought of settling the matter privately by getting married. As long as they are married, the incident can be described as the young couple couldn't help themselves rather than Chen Jun's drunken rape. Originally, Chen Jun's mother prepared 200,000 in hush money. But they were reluctant to part with such a large amount of money, so they agreed to 50,000 yuan and planned to wait for the Wang family to bargain before slowly giving in. Who would have known that when the Wang family's parents heard that they had money, they agreed immediately without any hesitation. In this way, Chen Jun spent 50,000 yuan to settle the matter of drunken and gained a wife for nothing. Wang Xiaoqan was not yet of marriage age, and their union was not a glorious one, so they did not hold a big banquet and only invited a few close relatives to have a meal. From then on, Wang Xiaoqan became the daughter-in-law of the Chen family. In fact, it is not that no neighbors have asked why Chen Jun, a graduate student and a nice young man, would fall in love with Wang Xiaoqan, a factory girl who graduated from junior high school. Chen Jun acted like a dog in front of outsiders, saying that he liked Wang Xiaoqan's diligence and kindness. As a result, uninformed neighbors said that Wang Xiaoqan had a good life and could find a graduate husband like Chen Jun despite not having read much. But no one knew that Wang Xiaoqan was just transferred from one to another.